everyone. This is Amanda from Caravan of Consciousness, and today, on episode 14, I believe it is, I've got Campbell Purvis from Purvis, isn't it? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes, that's
Yes,
correct. Yep.
Campbell Purvis from Didactic and Tartaria, Australia. Welcome, Campbell.
Hey, thank you. How you going?
Yeah, good, good. So we're recording this on Wednesday, the 30th of July, 2025. I'll try and get it up maybe later today if I'm feeling motivated or have the time, but it'll be up in the next couple of days anyway. So, but yeah, I always pre-record. I'd never do lives. I just find I'm not that tech savvy, and I think people have a lot of issues when they're doing live stuff.
Believe.
Yeah, so I find this way is easier. So what I want to do today, Campbell, is just dig into a little bit first about your journey to where you are now, and how you sort of put the pieces together, the puzzle pieces together over time to realize that the reality that we live in is not what we thought it was when we came into the realm. So, if we can first go back maybe to your childhood, like, did you have an inkling when you were younger that there was just something wrong about this place, or just that things didn't seem, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. The first thought I can remember is you've dropped me in the wrong place. Everyone's crazy. Come back and get me. That's literally my first thought. So, I'm pretty much a lifer. I always knew there was something wrong, something weird. I kind of saw what was going on with governments and religion, I guess, was my earliest kind of one, just seeing. People who turn up and get in the front seat every Sunday and they're the good Christians, but then outside of church, they're not very nice people, right?
yeah,
So that was my first kind of wake up. But yeah, I always knew that there was something wrong. There was something not right here. So yeah, I was just when I basically say when I was young, I studied Confucianism because I was very confused. So that was my childhood. Obviously always the black sheep, all that, that kind of stuff. Yeah, and then I've got into history very young as well. I just kind of knew, right, felt there was answers in history. So I was always interested in the alternative history, like when I was young, I got into the Giza pyramids a little bit, but then that was too mainstream for me. So found them in South America, and then I started finding all these pyramids everywhere, when I was young. And so, yeah, that's the path I went down. I got into sort of all the ooh parts, the out of place artifacts and all these strange things that were found around the world that shouldn't be there. And yeah, I've just pretty much followed that journey. Ended up getting married, having kids, doing that kind of thing for 25 years. But just, yeah, kept on sort of doing my research and then found the internet and I was very excited when I realized that I'm like, what? I can put a question in and get an answer. Woohoo.
yeah,
So I was in and then yeah, just randomly started my channel in 2019. After I came across the whole Tartaria, mud flood, star fort kind of thing about 2015, I guess. And was just researching that I was still working and then made a video and it sort of took off right from day dot and yeah. 5 years later, here I sit.
yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty early, 2015. I only stumbled across
Mm.
Flat Earth actually 2016. So
Yep.
before that, I already knew about the banking fraud and
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
medical and all that sort of stuff, the finance. And yeah, I think I can't remember when it was. It might have been around '08, '09, or something like that. I stumbled across Zeitgeist movie.
Yes, yes,
And that
yes.
kind of opened my eyes up. Although I was like you, I'd always felt that there was something wrong about this place. Just couldn't
Mm,
put my finger on it. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I don't
mm.
think I came across Tartaria, or Tartaria. Um, oh, it was probably, I think it was Martin Leakey because I followed him, Flat Earth British, from his inception, really, when I came across Flat Earth. He was one of, well, probably not one of the first, but he came along relatively, shortly after.
Mm.
And then he started going into the, you know, old
That's
world
right. Yeah.
buildings, the mud floods, the that sort of stuff, the antiquitex sort of stuff.
Mm.
And that's when I started thinking about like all the buildings. And it's amazing because I've lived here most of my life. I came out from England when I was 7, but when we came out, we pretty much settled here, just north of Brisbane. So
Mm.
Brisbane's pretty much been my capital city my whole life. And I've been in there like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times and never once questioned any of those buildings.
Buildings.
Yeah. And now that we
Weird
know
one,
what we
isn't it?
know, yeah,
Mm.
it's just, yeah,
Yeah, I didn't really, yeah, see them for what they were either. But there was a series put out by New Earth Channel called When the Survivors Wake Up. And that started, yeah, going around 2015, I guess. And that, there was a lady from Russia or close to, and she, yeah, just started covering mud floods and star forts. And basically, when the survivors of the flood of Atlantis, of whatever, when we wake up to what's really going on, and she started pointing it all out. And yeah, it just kind of blew my mind, right? And I was just in there and just checking everything for a few years. And then she got into star forts, and I found Fort Jefferson off the coast. It's like 200 miles off the coast of Florida or something out in the ocean. It's the biggest red brick building in North America, and it's basically, Star Fort Citadel in the ocean, which makes no sense at all.
yeah,
And you ask, how did they build it? And that's an even sillier story. It's even got a moat around it, and it's in the ocean. It's very strange, right? So yeah, then I made a video about that, and it just, yeah, kind of took off. And yeah, here I am,
yeah,
right? It's been a bit
yeah.
of a journey, yeah, that's for sure, yeah.
Yeah. Recently you went to the Netherlands, didn't you? And there was heaps of canals there with the buildings that are, yeah, pretty much
Mm.
half submerged in these canals like in Venice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That
Yeah,
they do call it the Venice of the North. Yeah, it's just like, I mean, obviously Venice, that there's no roads in there, so there's a few more canals, but Amsterdam's essentially the same, and all the other cities, like I went to sort of three other cities around, or towns, I guess they are, all the same, all got canals, and Netherlands is 70% of it's under the ocean level, under
yeah,
sea level. So it's very strange. Like, I was in a train one time and there was a canal next to us, but the canal was higher than the train. So it's this, and what it reminded me of was just that a flooded country, right? I think it was more of a country before the flood because, we've had this flood. Everyone knows about the flood, Noah's flood, blah, blah, blah.
yeah.
Way, way, way
It's in
back in the
every
past.
religion, isn't it?
It's in, yeah, and there's over 120 myths that have been identified throughout, sort of indigenous cultures, all with the same thing.
Yeah,
Same story, but they always push, like everything with history, they push it back and back into the past, right? It's all
yeah,
back into the past, right? It's like
yeah,
space, right? They keep pushing everything further and further away.
yeah,
It's a trillion light years away.
yeah,
All this stuff that we can't actually conceptualize in our mind, right? They make it so big that
yeah.
we just go, oh my God, well, they understand it, so they must be smart. So I'll just follow the experts.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the flood was more recent. Obviously we've got flood buildings everywhere. They're everywhere. And I
Yeah,
showed a lot of those from Amsterdam. And we've got sunken cities, the Bay of Bengal. We've got Yonaguni off Japan. We've got Bimini Road, the Caribbean.
yeah,
So I've got all this evidence that the sea levels have risen
yeah,
and more recently than they tell us. So yeah, that was one big thing I noticed about the Netherlands is I think it's proof of the flood, right?
yeah,
Levels have come up. It used to be a lot higher, compared to the ocean level. But yeah, it's just the same thing, right? There's the buildings, the cathedrals, the canals, and of course they tell us that it's the same story with Venice. In Venice, they say, I mean, it's a silly story, but they basically say people were being, attacked, so they took to the water and went out in the bay, and then they proceeded to get millions and millions and millions of logs and drive them into the ground, into the sea, to make
Yeah.
a platform, which they then built this city on. And Venice, if you haven't been there, it's got like the buildings are massive. They're
Yeah.
like really, really, really big, like some of the biggest buildings, old world buildings I've ever seen. And they're supposed to be sitting on logs, done in the 1500s when there was no machinery. And then in Amsterdam, the story's the same, but they used, I think, spruce in Venice and pine. They say pine in Amsterdam, and it just doesn't make sense to me,
It doesn't
right?
make sense at all because
At all.
after wood is submerged in water for such a long time, wouldn't you think wood rot would set in and things like that?
Yeah, well, yeah, especially with pine wood, right?
Mm.
Um, yeah, that they say that it all turned to rock, basically. It all
Metamorphosized,
got petrified, right?
petrified. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, which is interesting because they tell us that that's in 500 years, but then if you look into science, then how long does it take wood to petrify? They'll tell you it's thousands of years,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother fallacy. There's a cave in England, and people literally hang teddy bears in there under this stream, and it's just a very high mineral content stream, right? Like waterfall thing. And these teddy bears turned to stone in like a couple of months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Mother Shipton's cave in
Yeah.
England.
I'll have to I'll write that down actually. So I've
Yeah. So
that.
so they tell us all this stuff, and it's everything, right? They tell us, it takes thousands of years for things to petrify and all these you know, remnants of buildings that we see everywhere. And they're like, oh no, it's natural. It's just wind erosion over 10,000 years or
Yeah.
everything. They put all this amount of time in to push it back.
Yeah.
So they can
Yeah.
write their little story in there to,
Yeah.
explain what they want us to believe.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It reminds me too in the reverse of like sea level dropping. Years ago, but I was back in the early 1980s, early to mid 1980s. I went over to WA to Perth on a road trip, and we stopped at the Great Australian Bight. And I don't know whether you've ever been there or not, but these cliffs are like,
Hmm.
I'm not very good with distances or measurements, but probably 500 feet above sea level, these cliffs.
Yeah.
And up on the cliffs there was shells, like seashells.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah. And I had heard somewhere in the folklore of the original people of Australia that there used to be an inland sea
Yes.
in Australia.
Yeah, yeah. I've got a map of it that shows the inland sea.
Yeah,
Yeah, as far as we can tell, definitely. And you do find seashells and things in the desert in Australia, in the middle of the desert.
yeah,
And you can see where it's flowed out down in South Australia as well. Um, so yeah, there's definitely been a lot of, earth changes, whatever you want to call it, topography changes, water level changes recently.
yeah.
It's like I've got maps of the Sahara Desert from 400 years ago, and it's green, and it's got rivers, and it shows all the towns and cities all the way through it. And if you look at the Sahara today, those towns and cities are still there. They're just buried under sand, but you can see the
Mm,
tops of them poking up.
yeah,
So, and I think mainstream will tell us 10,000 years, the whole Egypt story, it wasn't, there was no water there until, 10,000 years ago or something. But it's all just a story. And how would they know this?
yeah,
Like, we just all believe that the experts know it, but you look into the way that they do their dating, things like carbon dating, man, that's not reliable if you look into how
yeah,
they do it, it's just not reliable.
yeah,
Like, it's like those tests they wanted everyone to take 4 years ago, 5 years ago, right? Where they just
yeah,
can make up their own conclusion to whatever the data is, basically.
yeah, yeah. And even fruit were testing positive.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember that. Yeah, they were getting everything.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
this is science, right? And science, you know, it,
Well,
it,
you've got
it,
to trust
it,
it, don't you? Isn't it trust the science?
I, like this is all like it's science. Science is a science.
Yeah,
So if you trace it all back, all these first kind of discoveries, you find it, these people were all channeling different entities and getting this information. And that's what we're told in the books as well, right? That, there's lots of stories, but like the fallen angels, taught mankind all these different skills, or the tall white people that appeared everywhere, Quetzalcoatl and all these. They always bring in this technology, these people that, or these beings that randomly appear. So, and then, not to get off track, but with what's going on with technology today, right? Like it's
Hmm.
getting pretty weird. It looks like they're
Yeah,
setting up trying to let entities in here. And of course, it's called electricity,
yeah,
the
yeah,
The Elohim, the Elon Musks, all these
yeah.
L's.
Yeah, oh, definitely the AI, it's not just an external thing. It is coming in through other realms as well. Because as
Hmm.
I was telling you before we pressed record here, I am now fully qualified as a soul center healing hypnosis therapist. I haven't actually sort of done much with it since I got certified because life's just been so busy. But when we were doing the training, we were doing swap sessions with other students. And it even came through in the sessions because part of that modality, unlike some of the other hypnotherapy modalities like quantum HQ. I can't even remember the letters, but yeah, there's quantum healing hypnosis technique. Yeah,
HQTT, isn't it? Yeah, HQT, yeah.
that's yeah, yeah. But what where soul center healing hypnosis differs is that they acknowledged the existence of entity attachments.
Yes.
Yes, like Jerry Marzinski does as
Yeah,
well.
I was just going to say, I've
Yeah.
done a couple of interviews with Jerry.
Yes, yes.
Very interesting story. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but also not just entities like disincarnate souls that are stuck or dark entities or demonics and things like that. But we were also finding AI implants, and not necessarily physical implants, but etheric or
Mm.
you know sort of otherworldly like psychic implants into the
Yeah.
person's auric field, into the
Frequency.
chakra
Yeah.
systems. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So it's very much like
Well, yeah,
it's
it's interesting
multi-level.
that's always been linked to, like alien abductions, right? I think there's a doctor who was, pulling these things out of a lot, like physical ones.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
And
I
it's
do believe there are
interesting.
physical ones too. Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm. Well, it's interesting, what are these greys, right? They've been described as like non-human, like basically organic cyborgs, I guess, organic robots.
Yep.
Now that we've got AI, it's like, oh, are they AI
Yep.
robots?
Yep.
Sent from wherever, right? The extraterritorials or who knows? I mean, I mean, I think everything's got to be on the table. It's 2025. The world's got
Yeah.
weird.
Yep.
It could have been time travel, right? I've got all these weird things with Donald Trump and all the books and Tesla and Trump's uncle who got all the papers, Project Looking Glass. There's this big sort of long thread of this weird time travel thing. So, I mean,
Yep.
and we're told time doesn't exist, at least outside of this bubble we're in. So who knows, right? I think, yeah, I don't think they're space aliens though.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't either. Even though I used to be on that page because I have seen a lot myself over the years and I've
Mm,
had experiences where I thought I had been an abductee. But now I'm leaning towards a couple of different things, interdimensional beings.
yes, I think that makes a lot more
Yeah,
sense.
yeah. And possibly beings from this realm in areas where we don't go or we're not allowed to
Hmm.
go.
Extraterritories, right? Where the
Yes, exactly. So it puts a
extraterrestrials
whole new
come,
spin on extraterrestrial because terrestrial means, the lands, the
the land.
territories and
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I do
I
believe
mean,
it.
even
Yeah,
alien just means someone who's not from here. So
yeah,
none of
yeah,
these references have anything to do with space or stars 1.5 billion light years away.
yeah,
And that stuff's all just, again, it's too big for us to understand because they talking, it's 1 million light years away. We can't conceptualize what the hell that means, but
yeah.
But we know that if we put a torch on in the dark, it only goes so far.
Hmm.
And they say, oh no, no, light goes for billions of light years.
Yeah, yeah. I remember learning as a kid that the stars that you see in the sky have already burnt out, but we're just seeing the light now.
We're
But
looking into the past. Yes.
yeah, but I still always question that, the same as the Earth spinning. Because I remember being a kid standing in the backyard, with your arms out and spinning around and around and around.
Well, I mean,
Oh, and you'd
it's
get all dizzy and
interesting.
fall over. And I'm like, how can we be spinning? Yeah, like it's just,
And like, if the Earth is spinning and you spin around, shouldn't you get less dizzy because you're
yeah.
catching up with the spin?
Yeah. Yeah. The same as with aeroplane travel. Like if you're going in one direction, you'd get there quicker. If you're going the other direction, you probably would never get there because you're always
You're
chasing,
chasing, yeah. And
yeah,
helicopters would literally just need to hover.
yeah,
They just
yeah.
go up, wait for the world to turn underneath them and land again, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, funny you should say that because I think just before I came across the flat earth I was a bit later to the party. I was in 2016. I think a lot of people had already stumbled
Still,
across it about 2014,
still
2015.
pretty early, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But before that, I don't remember how long before, but it wouldn't have been that long before. I remember hearing somewhere online that they were bringing out this new technology where so instead of having to get into an aircraft and travel, 23 hours from Australia to the UK, they were going to build these things where you could just go up to a certain altitude, wait for the Earth to spin around, and then plop you back down.
It would
Oh
make
my God.
sense, but
So
there's a
it
reason
was
that
a
never
bit,
got released, right?
yeah, it was a bit like, oh, we're going to the moon again, or now we're going to Mars. And they just keep
Hmm.
kicking that can down the road, don't they?
Oh, they do, man. I mean, we've been promised so many different, even aeroplanes, right? I remember seeing it was basically a big triangle, but it was an aeroplane, but you sat like all the wings were part of the plane, so I could seat like thousands of people in comfort, but that never came either, right? Like all this stuff. I mean, even the space shuttle,
Yeah,
like, no, we're going back to rockets that
yeah,
land themselves, by the way, now,
yeah,
if you believe that one. But I mean, I think it's all just confusion as far as we can't understand what they're talking about because it's spell magic, right?
yeah,
Also, it makes people lost, right? Where suddenly these people, this, randomly appeared on this speck of dust in an infinite, universe, and so we don't know who we are, where we are, when we are, any of this stuff.
yeah,
And it's all about making us feel insignificant, right? When I think I think we are the creation. I think this, I don't know if this is the only creation, but I think that there's a lot of realms here, dimensions, all in the same space, physical space, but on different frequencies. That's why things can pop in and pop out,
yeah,
right? That's why we have things like ghosts, right? Which are, sort of just getting into our frequency. That's why dogs and cats, right, can see things that we can't, because there's all these different frequencies, dimensions, whatever you want to
yeah,
call it, going on all at the same time. And I think
yeah,
that's ultimately what this experience is trying to teach us to raise our frequency, right? So we can change with the space we're inhabiting.
yeah, yeah,
It's not about
exactly.
ripping the government down and yelling because everything's wrong and pointing
Yeah.
out, how suppressed we are. It's about deciding what you want and going towards that, I think.
Exactly, yeah. Because I
Mm.
think it's good to shine a light on the darkness, and I think that's what we've been doing in the last probably, um, well, at least the last 10 years, I'd say. More and more people, but especially the last five since the 2020 thingo debacle, whatever.
Yes. The
The what?
event that shall not be spoken of.
Yes, I think the Sheep Farm boys. I don't know if you know of Dom and Chris from Sheep Farm Studios.
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're really good guys to listen to. I listen to their podcast. I came across them through Mark Devlin of Musical
Oh,
Truth.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And yeah, they call it Divic. So, because
Divot.
everything's in reverse. So if you,
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes.
yeah,
Right. Divot.
yes,
Nice.
yeah. And they call the other thing the three dart finish.
The three dart finish.
Yeah, the medical intervention thingo.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, I said the word medical. Oh, we
Oh
might
my
get kicked
gosh.
off. I know. So
Allegedly Facebook, YouTube, where are we? YouTube, allegedly.
yes,
Don't take the
yes,
video
allegedly,
down.
that's it. Yes, this is for entertainment purposes only.
Yes, exactly right.
Yeah, so don't believe anything we're
We're
saying.
not medical professionals.
Exactly, yeah. But so what was I saying? Oh yeah, so yeah, we've woken up, we've shone the light on the darkness, and a lot of us now know what's sort of gone on. We might not know exactly how, we don't know time frames. There's a lot of things about history, as you say. Well, pretty much everything in history is a lie agreed upon.
Yeah, 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 right.
Yeah, but where do we go from here? So as you say, it's we're not going to fix this place unless we raise our vibration because I know it sounds all airy fairy and a lot of people go, oh, you're into that woo woo stuff. But I've always been of the mind that um, mind over matter, what you think about, you bring about.
Hmm,
Um, and it all starts with consciousness.
hmm,
Like that whole thing about manifestation, it all starts from consciousness, thought, intentions and then bringing it into reality through the consciousness.
hmm.
So we're not going to be able to fix where we are, and I don't think we're meant to. I think it's all been part of our growth and to help us to raise the vibration, and we'll see change when we change. Do
Yeah,
you sort of
yeah. I think
along the same lines?
everything's energy at vibration, right? Everything's frequency. I do believe that we're creators, and everyone's doing this every day anyway.
Yep.
Everyone's manifesting their day, their life every day.
Yeah,
The problem is most people are manifesting what they don't want
exactly.
because they're focusing on what they don't want. They're
Yeah,
focusing on the fear. And I think the biggest giveaway is that, the powers that should not be, the Lites, they spend so much time telling us, no, you're just in a physical world. It's all
yeah,
physical. It's physical. There's nothing else.
yeah,
Like you go to school and it's like, oh, come in, leave your imaginary friend at the door. They're dead now. They don't exist.
yeah,
Come in and listen to us and all this crap. And oh, by the way, we'll teach you spelling. It's the first thing they teach us. So, their biggest focus seems to be on the mental, right?
hmm,
Education, the news, the music, everything is all based upon getting us to believe something, which is
yep,
basically it's a physical world. You really don't have much, choice in it. You can't affect it much. It's just this way. But what's happening is we're if we're believing that, if we're believing, oh my God, there's a war coming. Oh my God, there's a war coming.
yep,
We're the creators.
yeah.
We're the ones that create that because
Yeah,
these allies, the ones in control at the moment, they don't create. They use us for that.
yeah.
So
So they're
uh,
manipulating us so that
yeah,
we will do
what
what
they
they're wanting
want.
to create.
We
Yeah,
will create the future that they want.
yeah,
And I think that's it. And I think, that, the first step is to become responsible, right? Get responsibility, which is respondability, right? The ability to respond well.
yeah,
And you've got to start noticing, I think if you believe it's a solid world and, NASA and physics and science have all the answers for you, well, you're stuck.
yeah,
And that's what they're promoting.
yeah,
So I'd go the other way and start focusing on what you want. It was like I said before, if you want to change the world, you don't focus on destroying what is,
yeah,
you focus on building what is not, right?
yeah,
What you want to
exactly.
create.
Yeah,
And I mean, ultimately, everything's your fault. Everything's my fault.
yeah,
Whatever happens to us is ultimately our fault.
yeah,
And you can argue that, but I guarantee you, while you're arguing that, you're not happy. You're not creating. You're not being a manifester
yeah,
because you haven't taken responsibility.
yeah,
Like and mistakes. There's all this negativity around. Oh, you failed. Oh, it was a mistake. You made a mistake. Oh, and people get, oh my God, I failed, and they get all shameful. But again, it's just spelling. Like mistakes don't exist. They're
yeah.
mistakes.
Mistake. Yeah. So
Mistake,
you
right?
can
So you
always
just
have a
take
take
two.
two, take two,
Exactly.
take three. Yep. Take
Just
25.
take as
Yeah.
many as you want, right?
Yeah.
Just like the movies, which, more spelling, right? Movies are are made
Yeah.
by a cast of actors because they're casting spells on us all the time,
Yes.
broadcasting the news, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I was watching a short thing the other day, and Dr. Christiane Northrup, I think her name is, was on a stage, and she said you can cast a spell. What is it? You can oh, I've lost it now. Something about when you cast a spell with one person. Um, Oh, I've lost it. I'll
I've
find it.
lost
But it
it'll pop
mainly
back
to
into
do
your
with
head.
like mass spelling is broadcasting. Like you can put a spell on one person and it's a spell, but when you do a spell on a mass scale,
Hmm.
that's
It's a
called
broadcast.
broadcasting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
that's right. You can
broadcast.
cast a spell on one person, it's a spell. Casting a spell on a mass amount of people is broadcasting, and that's what it is. And you think
Hmm.
about it too, anchormen, like we don't call them here in Australia, but in the
US,
US,
yeah.
they call the reporters anchormen. Well, what do anchors do?
Anchor it into you, man.
Yep.
Keep that thing stable in your
And
mind.
hooks. Yep.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
television and it's full of programs, right? They're literally
Yep.
putting programs into us. Channels, what are they channeling?
Yes.
You know, it's all in there, right? It's all spelling.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And
We're,
not to
we're,
mention what it's doing on the subconscious level too, and with the flicker rates and things like that. So,
well, that as well. The first TV was made, you know, or the precursor was made back in the 40s by, of course, the army. And it was literally like a hypnotism device. You just
yeah,
stare at the square and all the things that
yeah,
hypnotize you. So that's
yeah,
where it comes from.
exactly.
Tell lies to your vision.
Yeah, exactly. And it is a hypnotizing machine because you see kids that are glued to the TV and the parents are yelling at them, dinner time, same with the gaming, the people that are on the games.
Mm.
And they're just absolutely oblivious. The house could be burning down around them, and they're just totally focused on that. And then you go the next level, and they've now got these virtual reality goggles and things.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is bringing me in to what you was talking about this morning. I saw your little thing this morning about the AI, and are they trying to create another us? Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, yeah. It's just, you know, all this data collection.
Yeah,
You know, like most people know about Facebook and that, you know, it's actually a CIA operation. And it's just a data harvesting site, right? What was it, genealogy.com, where they ask you to put your
yeah,
DNA in,
yeah,
all this stuff. So we know that there's all this data harvesting and cameras around and facial recognition, but um, it's in everything. Like Google own a company that sell cameras, right? Security cameras, and that they're full of microphones that are recording, you know, the occupants of the house 24/7.
yeah,
It's in all the new cars. It's in vacuum cleaners.
yeah,
Like, so they're collecting all this data and it's all the data. Like in the security cameras, they're recording voices. So they're recording when people go to bed, what they're doing in bed, right? When they get up, you know, when they leave and come home and that. And then there's, you know, Facebook will be collecting all the photos and that and all the things that, you know, people where they travel and what they do and what they like. So it's across the board. They're collecting all this data and you've got to ask why. Like why? You know, and you know, the answer we get is, oh, it's just for advertising, which we should not be cool with anyway.
yeah,
But I really don't think that's what I think that there's something much bigger going on. And, you know, are they creating other us's, whether that be electronic, whether they're creating a whole, you know, new world for us to inhabit, right? A VR world, and they're trying to get everything right. You know, are they going to be doubles of us? You know, are we going to be obsoleted by a virtual, you know, reproduction of who we are? Like, look, there's just much bigger questions when you look at, you know, AI. Like AI is coming so fast, and you know, is it good or bad? I don't know. Well, look who's behind it. Like all these names, you know, they all, you know, they've all got these dodgy stories. We're told they all started, you know, as poor people in their garage, and they had this amazing idea, and oh my God, suddenly they were this genius and worth $1 billion, and But you look into it, and we know that Mark Zuckerberg basically he didn't start or invent Facebook. I mean, the story you'll find if you look deep enough is that he basically went in and basically stole it. But then if you go deeper, you'll DARPA will come into it, and you'll find out he was just a dude who got given this. He's just a figurehead. Is he worth billions of dollars? Who knows?
Yeah.
We don't know.
He's
Like he,
probably like the Hollywood and the music industry stars.
yeah,
And I use the
yeah.
term, yeah, loosely.
They they
Um,
give you something to lose,
yeah,
and then you're totally controllable.
yeah, yeah,
But I mean, they're all bloodline. They're all from bloodline families anyway. These people that are really put up there on the
yeah,
and pushed out to us like Elon. You know, it's like, oh, Elon, he was smart, but he just started in his garage, and then he created
yeah,
PayPal, and you look into it, and his father owned the biggest emerald mine in Africa.
yeah,
And this he was a total playboy and stuff, and then he didn't create PayPal. So it's all stories.
yeah,
And so if you look at all these stories, and this is what we're made to focus on, and these are the people helping us, with technology. How often have we heard this story of it's just to help you, like the
yeah,
little chip in your brain, that's just to help paraplegics and quadriplegics and blind people. It's all
yeah,
for you, until it isn't, right? They get it
yeah,
in there, people accept it because it's like, oh, it's good for us. And then before you know it,
yeah,
there's advertising in your brain because you got a brain chip and you got to
yeah,
pay to get rid of
exactly.
it.
Yeah. And also the convenient thing. I mean, they were trying to sort of sell us that lie that with all the mod cons, this even goes back to say the 1950s and 60s particularly, because like I can remember my mother and my grandmother having the old twin tub washing machines, and when it was washing day, it took them hours to do the washing, whereas now you got an automatic machine, you just chuck it in, go away, come back later, hang it out. You'd think we'd have so much more time because we've got all these conveniences, but we don't, do we? No.
No, I mean
So
they free up our time so that they can give us more chores to do, right?
exactly. And
Uh,
just keep us busy so we can't, like getting back to before about the manifesting. Um, we need time to set intent. We need time to work out what it is that we want and what we don't want, but more importantly, what we want, what we're setting our intent for. And stilling the mind as well and getting to that creative spark, that void, that gap between thoughts is where all the magic happens.
mm,
But they're keeping everyone so busy with so much information and technology, and you've got to keep busy. You've got to
yeah.
be a helicopter, parent and do this and that and sports and work and everything. Like just everyone is just on such high level stress because of all this busyness that they've
Mm,
got us on.
trying
So
to be
that we're unable to
successful.
think for ourselves and unable to go
Mm,
within and listen to that voice within.
mm. Yeah,
Yeah,
man. I mean, the most sought after commodity is attention.
yeah,
They want our attention, right? And it's not just because they want us to focus on what they want to create. It's so that we're not focusing on what we want to create.
yeah,
And that's true. And it puts people in stress and all this kind of stuff. And you got to keep up with the Joneses. And of
yeah,
course, now life's so much more expensive and people are just trying to get by and working, working, working. Um, and what it is, we've been taught to rely on the system so much and it's always been there. That's all we really know.
yeah,
Like you ask people how they get their food, and 99.99 are going to say, well, the supermarket.
yeah,
Not very often you're going to find someone who's got their own veggie garden that can completely feed them, or they're
yeah,
hunting or whatever, right? Like we're just reliant on
yeah,
the system. So it's hard to move away from that. It's a big thing. It's like, well, if I stop working or if I go out and try my own business or do my own thing, what'll happen? What if, what if, what if?
yeah,
But, right? And
yeah,
I don't like big butts. There was that song,
yeah,
I like big butts, but I don't.
yeah,
Butts just keep you where you are, man. Like,
yeah,
oh, I'd love to do this. I'd love, but, just do it and don't think about it. And you know, I've done this, and I know a lot of people have done it, and it's always fine. You
Yeah,
know, it's fine that the world's here to look after us and sustain us. And I think if you've got that mindset, then take the leap, you know.
yeah, exactly. And I've
And
always had the belief too, or well, not even belief, because as Crow says, belief is the enemy of knowing. But
yes, I have issues with that, but yes.
yeah, but I've always had this thing that and I've lost it.
Again.
Oh God.
Well, I'll just say with
Oh.
belief, I mean, yes, I guess what I understand what Crow's saying, but I would say depends what you believe.
Yeah, I suppose because if you have a very strong belief in something, you can create it through the belief.
If I believe that the world
Yeah.
is for me and
Yes.
not against me, well,
Well,
that's
yeah.
not the enemy of anything, right? That's
Yeah.
good. If I
Yeah.
believe I'm a powerful creator, then that's good. The problem, where I would see the distinction is believing things outside you that haven't come from you, like
Yeah.
external information, opinions, all this stuff.
Yeah.
That is definitely, you know, if you're believing that, then that's
Yeah.
an enemy to your growth and all that for sure. Because, you know, we can't, you know, it says don't judge, right? In the Bible, it says don't. Everything's inverted. It says don't judge people. I'd say judge people. You know, if
Mm.
someone's coming up and trying to punch you in the face, judge them as a threat and get out of the way,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
If someone's cool and you judge them as a friend and spend more time with them, I think it's circumstance we shouldn't judge.
Yeah.
You know, because I've had so many, and most people do. They have all, you know, you go through a bad experience,
Mm.
and it ends up leading you somewhere really good.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have,
Yeah.
you know, perceived good experiences, and it leads them somewhere bad. You know,
Yeah.
so I wouldn't judge circumstance. I think we're just here to, you know, create our own worlds. You know, judge ourselves, I guess, our own thoughts, and not judge the thoughts of anything outside of us as good or bad on the spot.
Yeah.
And then you end up with guru worship and that, you know, we've seen how devastating guru worship can
Yeah.
be, right?
Yeah.
Um, but everything's interesting. It's just interesting. And as you get more information on the topic, well, you'll get more to, you know, decide if it's right or wrong for you.
Yeah.
And in the end, that's it. It's not right or wrong for anyone else.
Yeah.
So all this debating and I'm right and you're wrong and haven't you seen this? Haven't you woken up? Oh my God, do you still? It's
Yeah.
such crap because
Yeah.
when you get down to the basis of it, it's just someone trying to get someone else to believe what they believe. That's
Yeah.
it. It's
Yeah.
total ego.
Yeah. And that whole thing too about, people that aren't waking up and I've asked the question myself too. So I'm guilty of this and I have said, why can't people see what I can see? But I've got to a point now where I'm like, you know what? Not everyone is meant to wake up at this point in time. Um, maybe they've got a different soul contract and they're here to do different things and they're here to bring different things to the table. And I kind of liken it to not that I believe in school, but you've got kindergarten level, you've got primary school, you've got high school, you've got college or uni. So just because someone's in kindy doesn't make them any lesser than someone in university. It's just they're not in university yet. And it's the
Mm.
same with people waking up. Sometimes, some people may not wake up in this lifetime, or it may take them many lifetimes to get to where, you know, us so-called awakening people are. Yeah. So, and I even hate using that term
I
because
mean, can you even be awake?
no, because
I
there's
think I think
always
you
more. There's
I think you can
always
be in the
more, isn't there?
yeah, you could be in the process of awakening. You can be
Yeah.
expanding, you know, your horizons and all
Yeah.
that kind of thing. But as far as being awake,
Yeah.
I think if you're, you know, awakened as far as the concept we're given, well, you're going to turn to energy and you'll be out of here, man, because you've finished the game,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So all this, you know, I'm awake and they're awake and I woke someone up. It's all just, it's really just fairly egoic stuff.
Yeah.
And that's the problem is you should be focusing inward.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, man, if you can have great conversations, have them, you know, but people, you know, and I hear all the time, oh, I woke two people up today. And
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
You may have given them some information that wowed them. You may have been the 50th person, right? The right person who gave them some information and they finally got something.
Yeah.
But you didn't wake them up, and
Yeah.
everyone is in a different level. And who are we to say that our way's better or that they should come and join us? Like it's a ladder. You can't jump rungs, right? People have got to get to information in their own way,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know.
Yeah.
And
That's a better analogy than school, by the way. I should take that one.
yours, use it.
Yes.
But,
Thank you.
but this is it's like we were saying, everything's a different frequency, but in the same space.
Yeah.
So the world we inhabit is that as well, right? And we see it as the color spectrum, or we can only see from infrared to ultraviolet. That's a frequency scale. So that means we've got, from a perspective, we've got kindergarten to whatever, right?
Yeah.
PhDs and doctorates, all in this spectrum. So everyone's at their own level, and yeah, who are we to try and take that away from them?
Yeah.
To use your analogy, not going to go and grab a grade one
Mm.
person and say the sky's blue, and they're like, yes, it is, and you're like, okay, I've got an awake one, and throw him into year seven. I mean,
Yeah.
that's not going to work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
But I think so many of us, like I said, and I did it too, when we do stumble across things, we just get so excited and we want to shout it from the rooftops. But I
Yeah,
think over time, you develop the ability to be more discerning and you know what to say or how much to say to who. Um, and yeah, because I used to think, like truth's truth and everyone should know the truth and I'm not going to filter anything and, blah, blah. But after a while, you realize that you lose a lot of people along
a
the
tough
way
gig,
doing.
man.
Yeah. So you just have to, be mindful of where other
It's,
people are.
and yeah, and for what? Again, why are you doing it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why do you need to wake people up?
Yeah.
It just seems a lot like, oh, look at me, I'm so good, I'm better than other people, but I'm
Yeah.
waking up. It's kind of the opposite thing to what they proclaim to be doing.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think let everyone, if you find good information and you want to shout it to the rooftops and you're excited, well, awesome, do that. But don't.
Yeah.
The problem is in expecting other people to
Yeah.
accept it the way you want them to accept it, which
Yeah.
again, that's ego. It's all about you, and it should be, the frequency should be in you sharing and giving. If
Yeah.
people want to
And
take it,
this is what I've found.
sure.
Do what you want with it, sort of
Yeah, if
thing.
you're walking
Yeah.
around with a tray of hors d'oeuvres and you walk up and someone's like, no thanks, you're not going to start yelling at them and how dare you not eat my food?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. All right, now I want to talk about the recent stuff you and Kelly have been talking about. And for those of you that don't know, Kelly Jones is Campbell's partner in the
In
Tartaria
crime,
Australia YouTube
podcast.
channel and everything associated, yeah, and website. So you've been talking about two things that came across my radar recently was where are all the people and also where are all the bodies?
Yeah,
So
man.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Kelly went to China, not the Christmas gone, but the previous one. So what's that, 2023, 24. And she went through China. And she's telling me there's no one in China. It's empty. There's no one in the cities, of all these massive cities and highways, and they're empty. And I'm like, what? And she'd just come from India.
yeah,
And they basically, we're told they both about have around, I think India's 1.2 billion, China's 1.4. So pretty
yeah,
similar. And she said, India, you step outside your door and it's just people all day. You can't escape it,
yeah,
in the cities at least. And China, she's like, it's empty. And so we're like, wow.
yeah,
And so we had a bit of a chat about it back then. And then this year, all these videos started coming out from China of people saying, where have all the people gone? And it was really strange because they're in cities and they're talking about how suddenly there's no people, but none of these people seem to know the people that have disappeared, if you know what I mean. So it was
yeah.
just there was
It's not
no
like you've
personal
gone to work one
interaction.
day and
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then you go the
exactly.
next day and all your work colleagues
Like,
are.
yeah, and
Yeah,
it's not like their family or their friends have disappeared or anything. There's just these NPCs, you might want to call, who knows, right? But
yeah,
all these people disappearing. So yeah, we were wondering where Well, first of all, the first question is, and most of us have probably questioned this, is are the stats right?
Mm,
You know, if they tell us there's what's we're basically heading pushing on 8 billion.
mm.
They say,
Allegedly.
is that true? You know, I've traveled through Europe, the USA, you know, a lot of Australia in the last couple of years, and there's not that many people. You hit a city, and yes, there's people in it, but you
Yep.
go outside the cities, and it's empty, man.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter where you go. It's been the same everywhere.
Yep.
Kelly's been to different countries than me, and she's said the same, right?
Yep.
So I was like, well, how many people are really here? And then we sort of came across, well, um, haven't seen a new cemetery in a while.
Hmm.
Where are all the bodies? So at the moment, 70, they say 70% of people roughly are getting cremated. So we're talking about 30%, but even with that 30%, especially if you look at America, that there's like literally millions of acres less cemeteries than they need have been burying all these people that they say they've been burying.
Yep.
So where are the bodies? Where are the people? And so then in our last show, we sort of started talking about, well, you know, there's this whole legal fiction, right? We're born and then, you know, they turn it into a birth and they give it like a boat, right? Maritime
Yep.
law. They give us a birth certificate. And then that essentially that creates another person, right?
Hmm.
You've got the physical person and then you've got this corporate fiction
Yep.
person. But then you take it a step further. If you open your purse or wallet and look at all your credit cards and all your different cards, they'll have different names on them.
Hmm.
You'll have your full name, you'll have your full name with an initial, you'll have like your first initial and your last name, all
Hmm.
these different ways to write your
Yep.
name. They're all different
Yep. Capital
corporate
letters, low cap.
entities.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So it's all caps, but yeah, they'll write them different ways.
Yep.
And that's creating another entity.
Hmm.
You know, so if each one of us have got, you know, four, five, or six, you know, straw men, right? These
Hmm.
created
But
entities that
they're
don't
counting
exist.
all of our straw men as part
But
of the
they
population.
exactly because as far as the finance and trading and they trade our equity and our sweat equity, all this kind of stuff, they need to have those people on paper.
Hmm.
Like the people, they're not men and women, they're people, they're corporate fictions,
Yep.
humans. Human is a corporate entity.
Yeah, a
Right?
hue of
We're
man,
men and
color
women.
of men.
Yeah, well, that's what they say. But if you look it up in Black's Law Dictionary, it's a corporate entity. It's not a flesh and blood human. It's a
Hmm.
two-dimensional human, which
Yeah,
means it only exists on paper. We're men and women or mankind.
yeah,
That's a living flesh and blood person.
yeah,
So yeah, that all these fictional 2D, entities is that the disparity, right, in the numbers because they have to keep their trading up and their stock markets and all their crap. They need these people to look real
yeah,
and to be
exactly.
part of the population, and that kind of would answer the fact, or both questions, right? Why there doesn't seem to be enough physical people here, and also there's not enough, cemeteries that there's not enough dead people, right? There's not
Yeah,
enough bodies in the ground.
yeah, yeah.
So,
Also, I went somewhere a little bit darker with that too when I was listening to because you and Kelly put on an event recently, a couple of weeks back at Mullaney,
yes,
and I had the privilege of coming along.
yes, thank
It was
you.
great, yeah. And even the next day when we were doing some exploring. So I'll touch on that in a few minutes, but getting back to this, where are the bodies? Um, I kind of also went to the old Soylent Green
Yes,
line
yes.
of
Well,
thought.
yes. There are other options,
Yeah,
McDonald's being one of them.
yes,
And we did sort of cover that as well, when we were looking into well, where are all the bodies, basically. We started looking into, the consumption of meat, how much meat is consumed, and then
yeah,
how many cows, right, do we have? How many chickens do we have? Like, do these numbers match up? Because they don't
yeah,
seem to match up either, right?
yeah,
Fast food shops never run out of food.
yeah,
We'll see it at the supermarkets when they want to, put a bit of scarcity fear into us.
Yeah.
Um, but Macca's, man, they're always pumping out those burgers, right?
Yeah.
So, so where are they coming from?
Serving how many billion people?
Well, I think,
Don't they actually say that somewhere, don't they, in their logo? Serving,
oh,
4 billion.
serving people, people, serving
Literally,
happy people. Yeah, yeah,
literally, yeah.
yeah. And you drive around, and how often do you see a farm?
Yeah,
You see,
yeah,
cows. I mean, we're in, Mullaney, and we can drive 2 minutes down the road and we'll see cows. But I mean, 20 or 30 maybe.
yeah, yeah,
A cow takes, around 3 years to get to the size that, you can turn it into food. And so there should be a lot more animals around, right? All
yeah,
this stuff, tell us about factory farming and that, and
yeah,
that may be part of it, but there doesn't seem to be enough animals for the food,
yeah,
meat-wise, for the food that's consumed. And yeah, they've showed us in Soylent Green,
yeah,
Brave New World.
yeah,
Uh, I think Atlas, no, no, what was it? There was some other movie that talked, but yeah, this is the whole thing. Like, and um, there was a thing about Putin coming out and saying it, that Americans are literally eating each other. I researched that. I couldn't find, any
yeah,
original source for that. But, are we eating each other? This is,
yeah.
being in the background, and then we've got the whole, what the, elites do, with the, what's her name, Abrima, that
Oh, yes,
spirit cooking lady.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, and they have those
Abramovich.
dinners, Abramovich, yeah,
Yeah,
where they literally will make, a food, in the shape of a human, and then they'll all
yeah,
go and cut their piece and cut all
yeah,
this weird stuff, right? We've heard about all the whole, and who are these people, right?
yeah,
They seem to be from Canaanite, right? And they
yeah,
worship Baal.
exactly. Are they even
They're from the
people?
land of Cana, and they
Yeah.
worship Baal. So that are they Cana Baals? I don't know,
Yes.
man. You tell me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's an interesting one. Like,
It
obviously,
is. Yeah.
eat organic, people. Do not eat fast food.
Yeah. Well, luckily I don't eat meat, so I don't have to worry about that. But my husband loves Woolies chooks. He calls it his bachelor's
Woolies chips.
handbag.
Yeah,
He goes
right.
in there and gets his little bachelor's handbag and his tub of pasta salad.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but yeah, every time you go there, which I must admit, I do grow a little tiny bit of food, but sadly at this stage still do rely on the corporate, things for things. But yeah, every time you go in there, they've always got these barbecue chickens and, you know, there's always heaps of meat and just,
It's
yeah. And you're right, there
and
doesn't seem to be enough animals to keep
mm,
that going. Yeah,
and who's buying all this stuff?
yeah,
Especially if you walk through like a mall, in 2025.
yeah,
It's different to, 2019, where they used to be pretty full of people. Now they're pretty much empty, but there's all these shops everywhere
yeah,
stocked with all this stuff.
yeah.
And I
And
just
how do
think,
they survive?
how are they surviving?
Yeah,
How people,
they've got rent to pay, they've got wages to pay. Yeah. This is
all
part of
this
the
stuff.
reality breakdown that I don't know if you watch Quantum of Conscience, Matt McKinley.
Matt, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't seen him
he's
for a
been
while, but yeah.
talking about this for quite a few years about the
Okay, yeah.
breakdown of reality and touching on, going to these places where, the rents would be exorbitant
Yeah. It
and
just
no
does not
one's
seem
going,
to match.
yeah, how do they?
And
So is it one company at the top that owns all those, but people think
BlackRock.
there's,
Yes.
yes, it is. Yes, yeah, but yeah, there's just,
And with food as well, the supermarket, like you said, they're always stocked, right? Well,
yeah,
unless they want us to think they're not.
yeah,
But normally they're so stocked, and you just got to think, most of that, all the fresh food has got to be sold within a couple of days,
yeah,
or it's no good anymore.
yeah,
They've got to be selling a lot of stuff,
yeah,
a lot of stuff, and
yeah,
you never sort of walk into a supermarket when it's, oh my God, it's so busy. Like there's always people around, but
yeah,
does it match up? Does it really match up to our reality? Like, and then I guess, it's, you got to think what's happening, what's going, is it a simulation? There's a lot of simulation talk.
yeah,
How real is this place? and I think it's frequency slow, it's not physical, it's just frequency slowed down.
Yeah.
We can experience the physical, but is it a simulation? Are we in a computer game, right? That was another thing about, when we were talking about where are all the bodies, um, in a computer game, once you bury someone, you don't need to keep the body under the in the game,
Yeah.
right?
They're just gone.
That's just gone.
Yep. Yep.
So
Exit stage left.
yeah, yeah, is that what's
Yep.
happening here?
Yep. Yep.
So yeah, it's an interesting one. But I think ultimately that's what we've got to do, right? Is question reality.
Yeah.
It's our only, for most of us, our main reference for reality is what we've been told
Mm-hmm.
by the elites, by the school system, by the news, by all this stuff.
Yeah.
And we know that they don't like us.
Yeah.
We know that they want to treat us as slaves and parasite off us. So why would we believe all this stuff? We've got to start coming up with our own conclusions. And they've taught us to not be proud of our own thoughts and to not speak it out, right? And to not
Yeah.
stand up. So,
Yeah.
we get all these thoughts that might be a bit weird, right? A bit non-mainstream, and we think, oh no, that's just silly.
Yeah.
No one would believe this, but it's interesting, man. You start saying this stuff around the right people, and you'll find that most people have these thoughts, right? They want to talk about it.
Yeah.
You just got to be brave enough to be you, I
Yeah,
guess. Man up and
exactly.
speak.
And I
Yeah.
think we need to have a resurgence of imagination and creatism. Yeah, because so many people now, because they're so stuck in the matrix and, the busyness of life and not being able to think for themselves, they're totally losing their creative ability as well, which also ties in with AI because now, and I was only having this conversation with my daughter this morning. Um, Now these people are going through uni and they're submitting AI, um,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
assessments and things. They're getting passed, and then they're coming out. So in the next, half generation to the next generation or two, you're not gonna know whether, not that we want to go to doctors unless you've, broken an arm or something.
Hmm.
But how do you know when you go to a so-called professional that they really know what the hell they're doing?
I know. Like, you're not going to want to get on an aeroplane, right? With the
Yeah,
pilot that got their thing through AI. And it's going to become very apparent. I mean, and basically that they're getting themselves completely useless degrees. I mean, half the degrees are useless anyway at this
yeah,
point.
yeah,
But the ones that are still practical, yeah, these kids are going to come out knowing nothing. They think they're smart, but
yeah.
it's not a good plan, right?
They've
Like,
just parroted. Yeah,
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 unless you do the research and you're actively looking through and getting aha moments, you don't know.
yeah,
It's tough.
yeah,
Definitely putting a prompt into chat, that's not helping. So yeah, I think we're going to see more of that. We're going to see more of the AI music and videos and then all the scam stuff that's going on. It's pretty
yeah,
bad, but
yeah,
it's like everything in this realm is we have to agree.
mm,
We have to agree to use it. So I think we all
yeah,
need to start thinking about, how much do we want this digital world to encroach on our real life?
yeah. Well, I haven't even used this chat GPT or whatever it's called. Um, and I won't. I refuse to on principle.
Mm.
And I'm even thinking about, well, I've left my phone at home a few times recently and just gone out without it. And at first it felt really weird. And I'm like, you know what? 20 odd years ago, I would have just got in the car and gone for a
Yeah.
few days without even thinking about having a phone. So,
Man, if you weren't home, you weren't home. Bad luck,
exactly,
man.
exactly. And we used to use the old, what's it called? Oh,
The
UB,
yellow pages,
yeah,
no?
yellow pages, and also for the maps. What was it called? A UBD or something?
UBD, yeah,
Yeah,
numbers, depending on where you were, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
The
So,
maps, I know, and we used to have it on our lap, and we're flicking through pages as we're
yeah,
traveling, and we'd get everywhere we needed to go,
yeah, I know.
putting in,
Yeah.
GPS, and most people keep getting lost.
Yeah, exactly. And
We're
we
not
used to
thinking.
memorize phone numbers, like,
Yep, you do all
yeah,
these. Yep. So it's making us stupid.
yeah,
Like they've done tests, and cities with the least traffic lights have the least accidents.
yeah,
And that's, might sound counterintuitive, but it's because people have to think. They
Yep.
have to look out. They have to, be aware
Be
while they're
aware.
driving. Most
Yep.
people are just looking at the light. As soon as it goes green, they go forward without even checking what's going on around them.
Yeah, to see if someone else has run a
Oh,
red light or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, woohoo, I got time
Yeah.
to do. Yay. Look
Yeah.
at me respond badly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't see AI really being our friend. I know a lot of people go, it depends how you use it, and it could be used to our advantage, but call me old school, but I'm definitely more analog and getting back to nature and doing things the old school way. And I think that really it just keeps the wheels and the cogs turning in the mind and the your
Mm.
intuitive abilities, your creative abilities, your imagination, all that sort of stuff. And also putting your hands to something, you get the actual experience of it rather than
Yeah.
just the
You get
simulated
wisdom.
experience. Yeah,
Yeah. There's no
yeah,
wisdom with AI, man. Like,
yeah,
because you're not doing anything.
yeah,
It's just spitting stuff at you. So yeah, it's like having the cheat sheet, right? Back in the day,
yeah,
so you're not learning anything. So you're robbing yourself
yeah,
that knowledge of making connections, of understanding, of wisdom. But that's what it
yeah,
is.
yeah,
It's the great dumbing down.
yeah, exactly.
So
So, do you
yeah,
want to talk a little bit now about your presentation that you and Kelly put together? Like you're taking that on the road, aren't you?
we are taking it on the road next year. Yes, we're going
Yep,
to do 10 or so shows. We'll take it all around Australia.
yep,
Yeah, so yeah, we're basically talking about, the invasion, right? I mean, I think at this point we all understand that we've been invaded by something, whatever
yep,
you want to call that, some other consciousness
yep,
that seems to be ruling and trying to, make itself physical in this realm, shall we say? And so we kind of followed that story through and we look at the different Abrahamic religions and um, the tools, right? The manipulation of time is a big one. And
mm,
we can all see this, it's the quickening, right? Like what happened to
yep,
time? None of us have enough time anymore. And we've got things like the Mandela effect,
yep,
all these weird things going on and the time travel stories. So we had a good look at that because, they've got us in a place where we don't know, who we are, where we are, or when we are.
mm.
So we look at all the
That
different
when we are, that's
calendars.
a big one, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, you know, our calendar starts in the middle.
yeah,
How does that make any sense anywhere?
yep,
Calendars should start at one,
yep,
right?
yep.
Well, and of course,
Zero,
time's
maybe.
not linear; it is
Yeah.
cyclical, but it still should start at the start, right? Not in the
Yep,
middle. But yeah, so we go through the different calendars and show that, the Jewish calendar there in the year 5000, Islam's in the 1200s or something. Like no matter where you can go to all these different places on Earth, and it's a different year, it's a different century.
yep,
Right?
yep,
Then the calendar, the whole calendar thing, 13
yep.
months, blah,
Well,
blah,
I
blah.
always question that because December is,
Yeah,
according to the calendar we use, the 12th month, but Des is 10.
Deca, Deca,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And
Sept,
Null is
Sept is
9.
9,
Sept,
Oct is 8. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Sept is 7. Yeah. So yeah.
Yes. So if you change the calendar and if you put them in their right spots, so September becomes the ninth month, is it? Oh no, Sept is 7.
Sept is 7.
The seventh month and
Yeah.
October the 8th. So if you do that, then we end up that the start of the year is March,
Yeah, be
February, March,
March.
April,
Yeah.
May, March,
It'd be March. Yeah.
March, April. So
Yeah.
it's kind of it's different for us out here because we're in the outer ring, right? But for the inner ring, the northern, that's their spring, first day of spring, right? Which is the
Yeah.
perfect day to start the year, right?
Yeah.
On the rebirth, the growth, all this kind of thing. And if you
Yeah.
look at it, that's where April Fools come from because they literally change the calendar and dates. So, it's all messed up,
Yeah.
And then we
And
have
with
12,
astrology too,
yeah,
the
12
first,
months instead of 13 because a month is a month. It's
yeah,
just a moon. And so, yeah, if we had the 13, because we have 13 moons a year,
yeah,
but they somehow tell us it's no, no, it's 12, right? It's 30 days has September, April, June, and all the rest of
yeah,
where it really should be. 28 days has September and August and January, and all the months
Yeah.
have 28 days because there's 13 moons a month. That should be the little jingle that we all know, right?
Yeah.
So they mess all this thing up, which messes up our relationship with natural time.
Yeah.
Like we're taken out of that loop,
Yeah.
you know, and so then we rely on things like calendars.
Yeah.
And then you look into the etymology of the word calendar, and it means debt and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's all very convoluted, but so yeah, the weapons, time. We talk about the Ark of the Covenant, which is interesting, and the rebuilding of the Third Temple, which seems to be going on now, right? They're trying to rebuild the Third Temple. Trump's made a replica of the Ark.
Yeah.
It's all getting very, very biblical and weird, but that's how they operate. That's their story. That's where they live. They just try and tell us all that they don't.
Yeah.
So all this biblical kind of prophecy stuff, they believe in it all, and
Yeah.
they live it out. And then they just tell us, no, we don't.
Yeah.
Don't be a weirdo. Just go to church and do what the man in the dress tells you to do, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is a problem because religion, it's like anything. It's not the book. The book's just a book with information, and as long as you
Mm.
read it yourself and take what you
Mm.
want to take and leave what you want to leave, then
And
it's
there's many levels
all
to it too,
good.
isn't there?
There's so many levels, it
Yeah.
can be a religious book, it can be a storybook, it can be astrotheology, right? It can
Yeah.
be numerology, it can
Yeah.
be the law, like literally the
Allegorical.
law as well. It's all there. So it just depends how you read it. But the problem is when there's someone there telling you how to interpret it. This is what you must get from this passage, right?
Yeah.
That stuffs everything up. It's the religion, it's not the book.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've also wondered too about the etymology of Bible, like by being two and ball, as in, you know, ball,
Oh yeah, Baal, yeah, yeah, yeah.
ball. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
two, yeah, a lot of people say bull, like the two bulls.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because all the like economic, what do they call, like trading, stock marketplaces, they all have a big golden bull out the front.
Yeah.
Then there's Moses in the desert, went with the Ten Commandments. They were worshipping a bull. Is
Yeah.
it two bulls or is it, bibliotech, which basically just means book,
Yeah.
right? I mean, there's lots of interpretations there,
Yeah.
and buy bull, right? To be sold
Yeah.
bullshit. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
so
exactly. So it's all open for interpretation.
that's the thing. I think that's what it is. It's how it's up to you. Whatever level you're on, that's the level you'll read the book at.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
exactly. Yeah.
So
And
if you're
also
looking to be
too with
saved,
with the astrology, the bull also represents Taurus. So we're now supposedly in the early stages of the Aquarian age.
Aquarius,
We've just come out of Pisces.
Pisces,
Before that there would have been Aries and then Taurus.
the
Um
bull.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, which is interesting because we have the precession of the equinox again. It's pretty much an edge, right? Because we can't prove a 26,000 year cycle, right? We
yeah,
have to just take someone's word for it.
exactly.
But if that's true, then that means, we come out of Pisces. Clearly, that was a negative,
Yeah,
cycle, where the negative charge was in charge.
yeah,
Before that, we would have had a positive cycle. Forgotten what you said that was. And before that would have been Taurus. So
yeah.
they're referencing back to the last negative cycle
Yes,
because they're
exactly.
negative and they're skipping over the what we
Yeah,
would call the golden age or whatever, right?
yeah. Because the
Because
negative star sign, the negative zodiac signs of the in astrology, they're the feminine signs, believe it or not.
oh,
Yeah,
gotta say
and
that out
the
loud.
yes, and the positive are the masculine signs. But isn't
Like
it
Leo.
bizarre though? Yeah. But isn't it bizarre that we have thought that we've been in a world ruled by the male dominated world in the last however many hundreds of years. It's yeah,
Yes, yes, but I mean, yes, that's definitely how it's portrayed and sold, isn't it? But I
yeah,
mean, Queen Elizabeth II, she was up there a lot. Queen
yeah,
Beatrix of Holland, or is
yeah,
she Denmark? I think she's Holland. Um, so there are a lot of, Hillary Clinton. There are a
Yes.
lot of the females up there, right?
Yeah.
Not Michelle Obama, of course, not Big
No.
Mike.
Yeah.
Um,
I was going to
but
say,
yeah,
yeah, we have to be careful because do we know exactly what they are really?
well, exactly
Yeah.
right. That's all. Yes, the Trans Ams, the misgendering,
Yeah.
which is Baphomet.
Yeah.
Baphomet's a Trans Am. I can't say the other word. You can work it
Yes.
out.
Yep.
Yeah, so they're right into that as well. That's obviously hit, the consciousness in the last couple of years. Like, what are these people?
Yep.
And we can tell it, there's physical attributes like your clavicles, they're different on
Yeah.
male and female, the size of the head, the size of the
Yeah.
shoulders, the height of your belly button, all these different things.
Yeah.
So we can literally see photos and go, wow,
Yeah. And
here
also,
is a
I
dude.
think too, as they get older,
It
their
falls
true,
apart.
yeah, the true,
Yeah,
um,
I mean, if you want to have a fun hour or two, just spend some time Googling wives of the US presidents, right?
yep.
They all look like
Some of
old.
the ugliest women that I've
Oh
ever
my
seen.
God, it's crazy. It's crazy,
I
right?
know. Yeah.
But we see it a lot too, right? A lot of the rock idols, right, of the
Yeah.
70s and 80s, they look like old lesbians now. They just
Yeah.
do. I'm sorry, sorry,
Yeah.
lesbians. Yeah, they seem to metamorphosize before our eyes, right?
Yeah.
So what is all this stuff? What's really going, Biden? I
Mm.
mean, who was that dude that was in office for 4 years? Because you get that photo and put it back next, Google Biden in 1990 or something. That's a
Yeah.
different dude, man. It's a
Yeah.
completely different guy.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all the world is a stage. Ultimately,
Yeah.
it's all a
Yeah.
stage, which is why we shouldn't get so sucked into it. It's just
Yeah.
a show.
Yeah.
Just a show.
And with talking about Biden too, and there was a lot of people sort of scrutinizing different videos of him, and there was things like you could see it looked like a mask, because the skin was not. But other people are of the mind, and this has been something that's come across my radar in the last few years too, is cloning.
Yes.
And I know Guy Anderson, who's a mate of yours,
Yes,
he's
yes.
actually even brought out books about this subject. So,
He's got two
yeah,
books. Yeah, yeah. Tessa and the Cabbage Patch Kids and Rise of the Clones.
yes, yeah,
It's an interesting one. There's a lot of videos and stuff coming out of celebrities and their doppelgangers from the past. That's sort of what we got first.
yeah,
Um, Now we're getting all these videos of celebrities now, and there'll be two celebrities, and they put them together and they look the same.
yeah, yeah,
And then I guess as a third one, there's celebrities that seem to become other celebrities or they're playing two parts.
yeah, yeah,
Is that true? Who knows? But I mean, I think definitely one answer is that it's cloning. And when you clone things, you need a genetic blueprint, right? Which is
yeah,
DNA. And you then, off that DNA, you might make 10 clones. So they're all going to be very similar. They're
yeah,
going to look similar, right? Especially. So is that what we're seeing? That they're bringing out clones? Or is it masks? Or, we don't know at the moment. But I think
yeah.
clones
Or it could be a combination.
could be a
Yeah,
combination.
yeah,
I mean, I always wonder, like, how do we know what cloning is
mm,
before we've done it?
yeah,
Like there were movies with clones in them, 30, 40 years ago where supposedly no one knew what a clone was, right? Until Dolly the sheep.
yeah,
Um, so how do we know? It's almost like the tech was there and they just kind of letting us out and you can get into like Guy does, the reset of 1850 and all the orphan children and then the Cabbage Patch children and all these weird stories.
yeah,
Um, it seems, and the whole doppelganger phenomenon, it seems
yeah,
that there might be clones,
yeah.
did
Well,
Amy
I had an
House become Lady
experience.
Gaga?
Yeah,
Or was it a clone?
yeah. Well, I had an experience myself with my doppelganger
Oh,
back in the day.
you met yourself.
Well,
Nice.
I didn't actually meet my doppelganger, but when I was in would have been my late teens, there was a corner store just around the corner from where I lived. And a couple of times this happened. If it happened the once, I would have just passed it off, but it happened a couple of times. And I'd go into the store to get a carton of milk or whatever. And the guy there, I can't remember his name now, but we knew him by name, obviously, because that was our regular little, corner shop.
Milk bar. Yeah, man.
Yeah, milk bar, corner shop sort of thing. You have 20 cents and you could get four
Yeah,
ice
all the
blocks.
lollies. Yeah, man. You
Yeah.
were rich with 20
I
cents.
know, yeah. So, and we grew up, since we were little around this store. And then, yeah, into my teens, I still lived in that area. Anyway, this guy behind the counter, he goes, "Oh, another carton of milk." And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, "Oh, you must be thirsty or whatever." I can't remember the exact wording, but cut a long story short, he thought I'd been in that day, like an hour earlier and bought a carton of milk. And I'm like, "No." He goes, "I swear you came in. It was you." That happened twice. And then my best friend at the time, like I probably fast forward a couple of years later when I was in my late teens or early 20s, my best friend at the time, she was a barmaid and worked at one of the taverns opposite where I worked. And I often used to go over, after work and on a Friday night, especially, we'd either have dinner there and then, kick on with workmates. And then they'd have a disco on later on or a live band or something come in. Anyway, my best mate said to me a couple of times, no, no, just the once, that's right. There was the shop guy that was a couple of times. Remember, my friend said to me, I think it was on the Saturday, and she goes, "Oh my God, you wouldn't believe it. Last night, I thought you'd come over to the tavern." And she said, "This girl come up to the bar, and she said it was after the dinner had finished, and it was like the disco on. So the lighting had dropped, and there was like all the strobe lighting and all that. And she said she come up to the bar and I thought it was you and I'm talking away and got this blank expression on your face as if you didn't even know who I was, what I was talking about, what the F was going on. And she said, and I had to like double look and just say, "Oh, you're not Amanda, are you?" And she goes, "No, my name's such." And she said, "I swore it was you." And this is my best mate. And I'm like, and she was
Interesting.
working, she wasn't drinking, she was on the other side of the bar serving. Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's interesting. I've had people say, "Oh, you look like this," but I've looked at people and I haven't found my doppelganger yet. Some
yeah,
people say a
yeah.
few names, but Guy Anderson, when he was young, he was out walking around shopping, and some girl come up and slapped him,
Mm,
and he's like, "What? What?" And she starts yelling at him, "Where you did this? Where were you?" Blah blah blah. And then he said they both looked over at the same time, and there was a dude exactly like Guy, same like clothes, everything, sitting on a bench, and the girl just went, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry."
yeah,
And she ran across it and probably slapped the other guy, right? But yeah, I've heard stories like this. I haven't found mine yet, but yeah, it's an interesting like, you know, how do you get such a close genetic match if it's not from the same family?
yeah,
You know,
exactly.
and
Yeah,
they'll tell us, "Oh, it's just random with 8 billion people. These things can happen," you know.
yeah,
But
yeah. Well,
who
getting back to
knows?
the celebrities, I can't remember her first name, but Sedgwick is her last name. I think is it Cara or Tara Sedgwick or something. She always reminded me of Julia Roberts, and whenever I saw her in a movie, I always used to mistake her for Julia Roberts.
Yep.
Yeah. And there's a few actors like that as well that you
Yeah,
mix them
yeah.
up
There
because
there
there's those
really
same.
are. When you look at it, there's quite a few out there at the moment. I'm not a big, movie Hollywood person. Um, but yeah, there's definitely, I can't remember their names, but there's definitely some that are out there, and there's two different actors, and they'll almost be the same age, and you put them next to each other, and it's like, oh my God, it's the same person.
Yeah,
They keep them separate and, different hairstyles and that, and it's funny, right? On mass, we don't seem to see it as easily.
yeah,
And then there's the whole people playing two roles. I saw one, meld Jack Nicholson's face with Jack Black.
yeah,
That was pretty interesting. That was
yeah.
a pretty good
There's a guy
match.
on YouTube that's got his channel. I think he's called the
Yeah,
Fittest Flat
fit
Earther.
as flat earther.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he does a lot of that
he
and
does.
analyzes even the slightest little birthmark or
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I think some of his are good. I think some
is there's a bit of a
is
reach.
is reaching. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Um, But
Yes.
some are really, he's way into the whole Trump is Elvis as well, and Elvis
Yeah.
is Lucifer and all this.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, who knows? Like I said, I think anything's on the table, so I'd never judge anything as that's crap. How stupid!
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, if more
Yeah.
information comes along to confirm that, well, it
Yeah.
becomes, more possibly true, right? And that's
Yeah.
it. So who knows, man? I mean, we know that they lie to us, they're nefarious, it's all an act, it's all mind games.
Yeah.
Who knows what they are and what they're up to.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
they just whatever it is, they just shouldn't be, I think, is
Yes,
the answer.
exactly. Yeah. And I think we need to start reframing what we call them too. Like I like your term, the elites.
Our lights,
And a
yes.
lot of people say, the powers that should not be, but I don't even like the term powers because that's giving them power anyway. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Well, yeah. And, stop voting, because we
yeah,
go and we literally vote these people into power.
yeah,
Elections, right? At
yeah,
the between the polls, right? The voting
yeah,
polls, right?
yeah,
Boaz and Joaquin. So there's all these things everywhere, and then we give people power, we elect them to power, and then they're in power. So I mean, I think that's going to change anyway because I think that's got to do with the charge. We've just come out of a negative charge, right? I
yeah,
think time is like a sine wave,
yeah,
positive, negative, positive, negative.
yeah,
And so obviously in a negative charge, the negative people will be in charge, right? Literally,
yeah,
they're empowered, right, with that negative charge because they're more in sync with it.
yeah,
But now we're starting to see it. Well, I think we're more than starting to see it. We're seeing all these things fall.
yeah.
Right? These
Everything's
people,
unraveling. Yeah,
every move they make seems to be to their detriment. They can't make a right move anymore. They
yeah.
can't
They're like
freaking
scrambling, aren't they?
They are, man. They
Yeah,
are. And
yeah,
their only defense is to push out more fear porn. And
yeah,
they're doing that well because now, we've gone from a television. We used to have one in the house and we, progressed to one in every bedroom.
yeah. I've
Now
never
there's
had
one in
one in the
every
bedroom.
hand, right?
I've
Now there's
never had one in the bedroom, I can say.
good to hear. Neither
Yeah,
have I.
yeah,
But now there's one in everyone's hand. And
yeah.
then with TikTok and Facebook and YouTube and Instagram and blah, 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 blah,
Mm.
one story will come out but it'll be made 10,000 times. And so it makes it seem like things are a lot worse than they are, and there's a lot more happening than there is.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's just their biggest tool,
yeah,
really. So, and that's because they're panicking. They're
yeah,
panicking because they can't, because they're no longer in charge, right? They're no longer in the negative charge. They're no longer a frequency match with that negative charge.
yeah,
So they're losing, they're no longer in charge, like this is the language, right? This is the
yeah,
spelling. So yeah, I think it's good. I think we're seeing it all fall apart, and I think we just need to focus more on that and less of the, conspiracy theories because it's a big thing at the moment, right? People are into just, oh, what's the latest theory? What's the latest thing? What's the latest what?
yeah, yeah,
But we, especially with AI, how much of it is
yeah.
true? And
Exactly. There's so much now that we just can't even rely on, like video footage or because it could be AI generated. So unless you
totally
see it with your own eyes or you get it from a source that you absolutely 100% can trust
and verify, yeah.
and verify, yeah, it's
But
just,
it's interesting, a lot of these videos that come out, the TikTok, the Reels and that, they'll say some big, theory, and you just do a simple search, and there's no evidence of it anywhere.
yeah,
This is completely made up. And this is the other problem is people get paid. They're making money from
yeah,
doing this, and they realize everyone's into the latest conspiracy theory, Fear sells, right? Like this whole, oh my gosh, this is happening. Oh, I'm in the know kind of,
yeah,
it's all new and exciting. That stuff sells, man. It's clickbait. And so that's the other reason there's so much content is people are getting paid to make it
yeah.
by design, of
Yeah,
course.
exactly. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's to muddy the waters because the real conspiracy theorists, well, the real conspiracy factors, call that.
Realists,
Yeah,
conspiracy
realists, that's
realists.
it. Yeah, we get kind of swept into the muddy waters. And then people are questioning, you know,
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Well, I mean, when I started, there was probably, I don't know, like five, six maybe Tartarian channels, like Martin Leakey, John Levi, UAP was doing it back then, Conspiracies Are Us. I mean, that was kind of it.
yeah,
Now there's lots and lots, and then on TikTok there's billions, and
yeah,
it's just a lot more. What's the word? Like fantastical. Now they go for these big theories that are going to wow people, but they're not really based on anything.
yeah,
Some of the stuff I've seen, I'm just like, oh my God, dude. Someone's seen one video and they're walking out and it's like, oh my God, everything
yeah,
is this, so there's a ton of misinformation or at least misleading information.
yeah,
And of course, that's all promoted up by
yeah.
the search engines, by the algorithms, and the people who, try and do more, research-based work, they tend to not get the
Shadow banned.
views. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
shadow banned, whatever. It's all
yeah,
about echo chambers these days. Um, so, yeah, I just think that's one of the other ways that we can choose to not promote AI, right? Because a lot of these channels are AI and a lot of them are at least suspect, right? You never see
yeah,
the person's face and the quality of the video is like really high. And they're
yeah,
like, I'm just doing this in my back room, after work. And it's like, eh.
yeah,
And so those channels I try and stay away from just because I don't want to promote them. And it's very sensationalistic kind of stuff. It doesn't really teach you anything, doesn't get you anywhere. It's just like it's mainly wow, they've really screwed us over. Wow, I'm such a slave kind of stuff.
yeah,
It's not empowering. And so, yeah, that's just my little thing at the moment is try
yeah,
not to watch these AI channels, right? Unless you can see
yeah,
a real human,
yeah,
then I would steer away from it, man.
yeah. I just stick to a few now that I know and trust, and I've tried to look at even not subscribing as much to different channels. Like I might watch something, whereas I used to subscribe to everything so I could go back and, but I've really trimmed the fat, and there's only a few now that apart from the fact also that I want to try and get away from continually being on a device or listening or watching stuff. I still do though, because I just do like researching and things, but I've narrowed it down a lot to just things that I find relevant to me and things that I can go out and prove. When the flat Earth came along, I bought a P900 Nikon camera. I went out and I did my own experiments. Now
Mm,
with the Tartaria stuff, when I'm going out places, I'm looking at the older buildings. I'm thinking differently when I look at them, and just doing my own due diligence, I think, and not just taking it on face value from what someone else has said.
mm.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. And we need time to contemplate.
Yeah.
We can't always be
Yeah.
taking in more information and more information. We need to give our
Yeah.
mind time to sort it out
Yeah.
and think about it and make our own conclusions.
Yeah.
That's where the magic is, rather than just this. And
Yeah.
this is one of the problems that we have that we talk about in the show is there's just such a stream of information. We're overstimulated.
Yeah. Exactly.
Overstimulated. We need less information and more time to integrate it and to think about it.
Yeah.
Um, but
Well, I've
everyone
never
wants to
got
be
into
up with the
TikTok.
latest. You've
I've
never been on TikTok?
never got into TikTok, never got into Instagram. And if I do listen to a podcast, I like listening to ones that are a bit longer and a bit more involved, where you really get the meat and bones, so to
Mm,
speak, of of the subject. Whereas a lot of, especially the generations coming now, they just want the quick fixes, the quick little, let's just look at that, let's look at that, let's look, yeah. And they're not really taking it in.
mm,
Oh, yeah, it is. It's overstimulation, and it's just,
yeah.
yeah,
How much can you learn in a 2-minute video, right?
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, you can get an idea and go, oh, I should research it, and then you should,
yeah,
but as far as this just watching, yeah. I mean,
yeah,
you can imagine if you spent an hour on TikTok, they're all 1, 2, 3-minute video. Imagine how many videos you'd see.
yeah,
It's overstimulation. Your brain's just like going, what do I do
yeah.
with all this?
Yeah, and then people wonder why they've got these, nervous and autoimmune issues and nervous system issues and things like that.
It's
Yeah,
not healthy. Like,
yeah,
we're not constructed to be like this. Our
yeah,
brains are supposed to slow down and enjoy, watching a
yeah,
butterfly fly by and
yeah.
nature and all this
And that's
stuff. Not
what I
this
loved
constant.
about, yeah, that's what I loved about your event. Sorry for butting in there, but
No, no.
because we did the sitting there looking at the screen on the Saturday, the presentation. But then the Sunday, we actually got to go out, feet on the ground, bare feet on the ground, doing grounding in the sunshine, exploring, adventuring, mixing and mingling and meeting new tribe members. It
Yeah.
was so good.
Yeah, it was cool, right? And
Yeah.
just randomly had a little didgeridoo rock tapping session.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it
that's
was
fun,
amazing. I meant to bring my singing bowl, but I forgot. But yeah, next time we
Next
have a get
time,
together, I'll bring the singing bowl too. But
yes.
yeah,
Well, if you're coming
yeah.
to September, we've got another event on that
Oh, I would
great
love
too.
to, but that happens to be my husband's big 60
Oh, that's
birthday
right.
or
Yes,
born
you
day.
mentioned. Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
that weekend and our wedding anniversary, and yeah,
Fair enough. That's
so
a good excuse. We'll let you
yes.
go with that
Oh,
one.
thank you. I really wish I could come though, but I don't think he'd be too pleased.
Yeah, I mean that's why we do them because and this is kind of the whole theory what we've been talking on it's good to get information, it's interesting and all this stuff, but ultimately we need to meet,
Yeah,
mingle, we need with real people, we need to
yeah,
be in nature, we need to have real conversations, we need to sit around campfires and be relaxed, right, and share
yeah,
our ideas. I mean, this is really where the magic lies. And we from our first event, when was that? 2020, 20 somewhere out 2021 maybe. Um,
is that the one in Melbourne?
yeah, the one in
Yeah,
Melbourne.
yeah,
We just started hearing this story over and over of people who were just isolated. They didn't know anyone, they didn't have anyone to talk to, and
yeah,
they were just, and of course after what happened in 2020, that kind of exasperated the whole thing. But
yeah,
so that's what we try and do is just get people together, right, with their tribe where they don't have to self-censor. They can be who they want. They can say what they want. And that's, that's what people love. That's why people love it. It's not about, Kelly and I being on stage talking. That's just kind of how we get people together, right? And then, so that's why every time we do a show, we go out on the Sunday and we walk around and, make sure we connect with as many people as we can. Because that's really what it's all about. If there's no connection and you can't have good conversation, well,
yeah,
what are we doing? What
yeah,
are we doing? What's the use of having all this information and this knowledge and wisdom and not having anyone to share it with? I mean, that's
yeah.
kind of pointless.
Exactly. And it's so much better doing things with people in person. I mean,
Mm,
yes, this does play a role, like doing the podcasts and things like that. And I'm so thankful for things like Zoom where we can make these connections online. But there's nothing better than meeting people in person and making that physical connection.
yeah,
Yeah, because it's all about our auric fields as well and the vibration and the fact that we've got the heart energy joining up, and so that strengthens, and that's probably another reason why there was the distancing thing in that year, a few
for
years ago.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, because they were wanting to cut that connection and that heart, centered connection with one another and the auric fields and things like that.
Mm,
So, because we are so powerful, really, and when a lot of us like that get together, that does, it's like throwing a pebble into a lake and it ripples out, and it doesn't just affect the immediate environment, but it goes right out. And yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Totally, totally. Yeah,
yeah,
it's all about connection. Yeah,
yeah,
that's where we've got to go, and that's what
exactly.
everyone wants. Everyone talks about, oh, it was better in the 80s and all this, and
Yeah,
the difference was we didn't have all the tech, all
yeah,
the
exactly. Yeah, we
electrics,
used to
right?
hang out at the skating rink on a Saturday morning, or we'd
Yeah,
go to the
man.
drive-in on Friday night, and then go
Yeah,
to
yeah,
Pierre's Mill afterwards for hamburgers and whatever. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Cruise around with your gang on your BMX, it was,
yeah,
and we were never bored.
yeah,
Like, and
yeah,
the days seem to last forever, right? And time's quick speeding up, and that's because no one's making proper memories anymore. Digital memories don't give you reference points for time.
yeah,
physical memories do. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
I think that's got a part to do with all the whole quickening and time speeding up is we're not making real memories anymore because we're not doing real stuff.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mm.
Well, I could talk to you all day, Campbell, but I think you've probably got things to do, and I think I've got things to do.
Wow,
So if you just want
almost
to
2 hours.
let people know where they can find out information on your event that's coming up,
Mm.
and also, yeah, what's else you're doing in the future. You just want to touch on that a
Yeah,
little?
yeah. So tartariaaustralia.com is the website. It's got all our events. The next one is the Jolly Swag Tour on the 5th of September in northern New South Wales, which is like a 3 day kind of mini festival thing. Getting everyone together. We'll be doing our talk. We'll have a lot of stuff going on. Then, yeah, we're going to tour the show next year. So we're going to hit every capital and a lot of regional areas, so do around 10 shows. Just sort of carrying the message that, how much is all this, looking at the world, looking outwards, helping us, is there a better way to go? And then, yeah, there's lots more. I mean, it's all put up on the
Yep.
tartariaaustralia.com
You got a
website.
newsletter coming out, don't you?
Yeah, we've got a
Newspaper?
newspaper coming out. So, if you're a researcher, you've got something to contribute, or you've got a 5D business, a business for the world whether we want to inhabit, not a traditional one, then you can advertise those as well in there. So you find the link to that. We've got a few other things that are on the burn but haven't been released yet. Um,
Exciting.
yeah, so
Yeah,
there's more coming.
yeah,
And yeah, Autodidactic on YouTube. The podcast comes out every Friday night, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Australia time. And then there's a lot of Tartaria stuff on there as well that you can check out.
yeah. Great. Thank you for that. And just quickly before we go, what I'd really like to do, and I don't know if you've done it yet, forgive me if you have and I missed it, but I'd love to get a group of us together one day. And even though I hate going into the cities because the energy just is not congruent with my energy, but just do a little day trip tour around to look at some of the buildings in our local city. So, here it would be Brisbane. That'd be
Mm.
lovely to be able to do that because I think you guys did it in Melbourne, didn't you? I think did Kelly?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's what we normally do when we
Yeah,
do events in cities. Like
yeah,
the fun day is a walk around.
yeah, yeah.
This
One in
time it was in
Brisbane.
Mullaney and there's nothing in Mullaney, so we went to the
Yeah, the
Glasshouse
Glass
Mountains,
Mountains, which they are
which
just
is
oh
pretty phenomenal, right?
magical, mystical, magical. Yeah,
Mm. So yeah, definitely next year, every show pretty much will have a walk around the town to point out the buildings. But yeah, it is something we've been thinking about and wondering how do we do it. So I've got a few ideas for that, but
yeah.
you'll have to check out the website and keep checking it out until it comes up.
Yep, yep,
Don't
cool.
want
All
to
right.
release it too easy, too early.
Yeah, all right, great. Well, thank you so much for being my guest today. And I'm so glad I got to meet you in person. And now I can call you my friend, and
You
I'll be
can.
definitely up for coffee or
Alrighty.
yeah, because I'm only just down the road about 45 minutes, 40 minutes.
Cool.
Yeah, just north of Brisbane. So yeah,
Nice. All
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Nice. Well,
And
my birthday's coming up in 2 weeks, so
oh, is
I'm
it?
thinking of doing something, so I'll let you know.
Yeah, yeah, great, cool. Thanks
Mm.
for that. All right, well, thanks everyone for watching, and I'll catch you next time.
Yes. Thanks, guys. See ya.
Bye.